Okay, let's just dive right in. You have definitely seen this bright orange book. I mean, it's everywhere. It's Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fick, and it promises a kind of counterintuitive path to living a good life. When I say everywhere, I am not kidding. This thing wasn't just a book, it was a full-blown cultural moment, selling over 16 million copies around the world. A number that huge tells you one thing for sure. Its message is seriously hitting a nerve. But, beyond that really provocative title, what's the actual philosophy here? Is it just about being a jerk or ignoring everybody? No, not at all. The real idea is way more, subtle.
So, first things first, let's just tackle the biggest myth right away. What does not giving a fuck actually mean? The most important thing Manson says is this: it has absolutely nothing to do with being indifferent. In fact, it's the total opposite.
See, Manson draws a really clear line in the sand here. He argues that people who are indifferent are actually just lame and scared. They're hiding from the world because secretly they care way too much. On the other hand, not giving a fuck is an act of strength. It's about being comfortable with being different and consciously deciding what's worth your energy, your fucks, and then just letting go of everything else.
Okay, so why do we even need to learn this skill? Well, Manson pinpoints a very specific, very modern problem that causes so much of our anxiety. It's something he calls the feedback loop from hell. And we've all been there, right? You feel anxious about something, and then you start feeling bad about feeling anxious. Or you get angry, and then you get angry at yourself for getting angry. It's like this mental echo chamber that just makes our negative emotions louder and louder. Here's how it works. It's a simple but vicious cycle. It starts with just a regular negative feeling. But then, especially in our world today where we're just bombarded with images of perfect happiness, we judge ourselves for it. And bam, just like that, you've doubled your own misery. You've now got 2 layers of negative feelings to deal with. So, if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, this is where things get a little weird. Manson introduces a concept he calls the backwards law, and it completely flips everything we think we know about happiness on its head. Okay, here's part 1 of the paradox. The more you desperately chase a positive feeling, the more you just reinforce the fact that you don't have it. Think about it. Chasing wealth makes you feel poor. Chasing sexiness makes you feel ugly. It's a hamster wheel that never, ever stops. But then, here comes the twist. The part that really turns the whole idea of self-help inside out. And there it is. That's the punchline. The real path to feeling good comes from accepting that you're gonna feel bad sometimes. When you stop fighting the anxiety and just accept the struggle, you totally short-circuit that feedback loop from hell. You feel bad, and instead of judging it, you just kind of say, and so what? So here's the bottom line. A good life is not about having 0 problems. I mean, that's impossible, right? No, a good life is about finding good problems, problems that you actually enjoy solving.
And this all leads us to the most practical part of the entire philosophy. If happiness comes from solving the right problems, well, how do you find them? It all comes down to choosing the right values.
Most self-help is obsessed with how to get what you want. Manson asks a much deeper question. Are the things you want even worth wanting? He argues that the real work is reevaluating your goals and your values.
And he gives us a framework for this. Good values are based in reality, they're constructive, and, this is the most important part, they are things you can actually control. Bad values are the opposite. They're based on fleeting emotions, they can be destructive, and they're almost always dependent on other people.
I mean, just look at these examples of bad values. Being liked by everybody. Can you control that? Nope. Feeling good all the time? Not gonna happen. Being perfect? Come on. Chasing these is a recipe for misery because you've basically handed over control of your own life to forces outside of yourself. Now compare those to these. Honesty, curiosity, self-respect. See the difference? These are all internal. They are processes, not outcomes. They are entirely within your control, right here, right now. These are the kinds of values you can build a stable, meaningful life on. But okay, let's be real. Is it really that simple? As popular as this book is, its philosophy isn't without its critics. So for a complete picture, we really have to look at the other side of the coin. A key criticism, which a Collider review of the documentary pointed out, is that the philosophy is maybe a little too focused on the individual, that it doesn't really engage with the bigger picture of why we're all so anxious in the first place.
Yeah, critics raise some really important questions. Like, does this advice ignore huge systemic problems like economic pressures that create anxiety? Does it maybe oversimplify the experience of real trauma? And maybe the biggest one, can a philosophy from one person's perspective, a privileged white man's, really apply to everyone, regardless of their background or situation? These are all valid and important questions to think about.
In the end, though, the core message of the book always circles back to this one powerful idea. The goal isn't just to find happiness, it's to choose your struggle. The real question is, what pain are you willing to endure for something you truly value?
And that is the final challenge the book leaves you with. Life is always going to have problems. That's a given. So instead of asking what you want from life, Manson flips it around. What problems do you want to have? What struggle will you choose?